Thank you everyone for who has come in person, as well as all who are tuning in to the feed or watching this afterwards. Christy meant something to all of us, and although we would all have liked to be here, we all have reasons why it wasn't possible. I wish everyone well in their experience with sickness and grief right now, as would Christy. She prepared her last wishes and gave them to me a year ago. In her own words, she revealed how much she understood that not everyone would be able to attend under certain circumstances. She wanted people to be safe, and she wanted everyone to do what they needed to do for themselves or their family. That was how Christy was. Christy relied on a lot of support, but she truly cared about the well-being of others above her personal needs and all that. When people were sick or grieving, she was always there. This is why she went into social work as a calling, and why she was proud to be a peer support specialist to others struggling with mental health issues. Christy's burdens were large, and those who were witness to them know how badly she struggled. Sometimes her desire to be a light for others would mask how hard things really were for her. The confusion she experienced over the last year was very hard to watch, and I take solace that she is no longer suffering. Our human forms are frail and suffer great indignities. But even over this last year or so, when things were at their worst, I still recall moments where she felt clarity and peace. She was able to see that she was not alone, and she had people who loved her, and she loved them back. The true Christy was always there, but even in those times of struggle, she was there for her friends and family if they called on her. She'd patiently listen to her friends, her sister, even a fellow patient in the hospital she had just met with true empathy, no matter how things were for herself at the time. She was always trying to get better so she could help others get better too. I was fortunate to have had her caring heart to lean on for 7 years, 6 as her life partner, and for all of her friend. We started dating in 2015. On our first outing, I was immediately taken by her sincerity and authenticity. She held no pretense about anything, and her honest presence was powerfully disarming because you could see that she held no judgment towards you, only to remind you that you are okay just as you are. I never regretted sharing my soul with her, and despite all that has happened, I still do not to this day. The peace that brought me made me know I needed her in my life. And in that 7 years, she helped me to understand that I had nothing to feel shame about. And for that, I am more than proud to faithfully honor who she was. She was a champion for everyone. She accepted everyone with loving arms into the human family, and I can tell you that was very important to her. No matter your race, religion, politics, social class, sexual preference, or gender identity, she saw you for the beautiful, worthy soul you are. There was never a question about the sincerity of her acceptance. It was 100% real. If you knew Christy, you were lucky enough to know what a true compassionate friend is. Someone who would listen to you for hours and care about what you were saying. Someone who could make you smile and laugh with her charm, enjoying the simple and abundant beauty and happiness that abounds. I've seen Christy incredibly happy, and when she was happy, it was hard not to feel it as well. She was someone who would think about you while she was out somewhere and went to buy you a gift. Not because it was a special occasion, but just because you were on her mind. She would often buy gifts for people she had not seen in years and hoped she would run into them someday and could give them to them in person. Christy loved to make art for people. She was a perfectionist about her work, and sadly some of it never completed because she never felt it was ready. A lot of times she had someone in mind to give it to. She was wildly creative. Her poetry was incredible in its form and emotional impact. I recall how proud she was when she was getting published. It's something she deserved. She had a great voice. She wrote stories, even dabbled in music from time to time, and had the most beautiful singing voice I wish I had heard more often than she would allow it. She was also very smart. If you got her on the subjects of language, poetry, classical music, medicine, or art history, and you would hear how deep her knowledge was of things she was passionate about. When Christy became your friend, she was always your friend. Even after we decided to separate as partners, I knew it was always going to be possible to stay friends with her, and she would always invite that. She held that door open for everyone. I'm happy that over the last year we remained friends. We stayed in contact until the end, even after she moved away. I'm going to deeply miss her. There's so many more conversations I wish I could have had. She thought a lot about the end of these last 2 years, even though all of her fears and struggles, she would tell me she knew her soul went somewhere in the end, and she felt good about it. Even when she was not at peace with life here, she was somehow at peace with what lies beyond. I believe she is in a better place of rest. I feel her energy still abounding in the form of inspiration and beauty, urging me to care more about the life I live. We can channel that by being present with each other. Really see people beyond prejudices, beyond judgments and over abilities, creeds, and identities. Be an unconditional friend and champion tolerance and compassion in the world. This is what will keep her spirit alive. Because above all, that is what she most stood for. And I want to call on anyone who wishes to say some words about Christy to do so, either by raising your hand or if you're on Zoom, please speak up so we can to let us know.
I was lucky enough to be able to call myself a friend of Christy's. We met through a mutual love of board games and card games. And a friend of ours was hosting a regular board game night that we would both attend together, and that's how we got to know each other. So I'm going to tell you some of the things I learned about Christy through board games. She was incredibly perceptive about people around her. And whenever we would play games that would involve trying to detect who was part of a team or who was the person who had a piece of information, she was generally one of the first people to figure out who that was. She asked incredibly insightful questions in games where you would question each other and try and learn information that the other person might have that you were trying to gain. She would ask very perceptive and deep questions very quickly and simply and learn a lot about what was going on with other people very easily. She was always very quick to try and help other people in the game. So if someone was struggling with a rule or struggling with trying to figure out what they would do next, she would very compassionately engage with them to help them try and feel like they were a part of the group. And she was always very willing to try new things. She always wanted to try new games, and when other people would present opportunities to play a game she hadn't gotten to try before, she was one of the first people to join in and say that was something she wanted to do. As I got to know her better, I feel like those were really characteristics that she carried with her throughout life in the way that she interacted with people. She really wanted to get to know a person. She wanted to get to know who they were. She wanted them to be themselves. She wanted them to feel included. And so I feel like that's something else, like Todd was saying, that we can all carry with us to continue to embody those traits that she brought to the community.
Christy had some songs that she wanted us to hear. And I'm going to play some, show some of the slides of her life.
Reverend Diana Davies. I'm the minister here at First Unitarian. And my pronouns are she, her, hers, and for those of you who might be watching us online who have a bad bandwidth connection or visual impairment, I'm a white woman with gray hair. Just happen to be wearing the right color of dress today to match with the pink flowers. Ask most people, and they'll tell you that a memorial service is held for the sake of the living. That a funeral or a memorial offers an opportunity for people to mourn together. And in doing so, to move forward in the process of healing, even as they form new bonds, new threads of connection. A memorial service can help to patch up the broken web that was broken when a part of it was suddenly and cruelly torn away. I know that for some of you, that was how your bond to Christy was formed in the first place, through shared grief. A memorial service also gives the living an opportunity to meditate on their own lives. To borrow a phrase from the poet Mary Oliver, the occasion of a death forces us all to ponder this question. Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? But I'm going to make a somewhat scandalous suggestion that a memorial service is also for the sake of the dead. And I'm not a traditional theist by any stretch of the imagination, but I believe that the dead are still with us. They are with us in a scientific sense, knowing that according to the first law of thermodynamics, no energy in the universe is ever destroyed. It's simply reallocated. And I believe the dead are still with us in a more ancient, pagan, primordial sense. As the Senegalese poet Birago Diop has put it, quote, "The dead are not under the earth. They are in the rustling trees. They are in the groaning woods. They are in the crying grass. They are in the moaning rocks. The dead have a pact with the living." Unquote. Christy, in particular, seemed to think a fair amount about her own memorial service. She had a clear vision of what it would be like, but she also wanted to know that it would bring people together, that it might even frame her life in such a way as to inspire those who might be in great need of inspiration. And so as we speak today about Christy, we do so for our own benefit, but I truly believe that Christy, in some way, is here with us. That she, some aspect of her, at any rate, is hearing what we say. And that it is a balm to whatever residual energy of pain might still linger. I believe, in fact, that whenever we speak words of love, and gratitude, and appreciation, we bring a healing music into the universe, and that this music carries much further than human ears can hear. Here's what the official obituary tells us about Christy. Quote, "Christy Lynn Reno, age 37, was born on January 31st, 1985 in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and passed away on July 28th, 2022 at her home in Olney, Texas. Christy grew up in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and after graduating from high school, she attended the University of Oklahoma, where she received her Bachelor of Science in Social Work. She liked to play games, liked art and poetry, and was a medieval times enthusiast. She moved to Olney in 2022 from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Christy was preceded in death by her mother, Lori Jean Carroll, her sister, Diane K. Reno. Christy is survived by her father and stepmother, Richard and Elaine Reno of Olney, one stepsister, Rainey Robertson of Olney, her stepmother, Esteline Robertson, her uncles, Kirk Walder, Brett Reno, Doug Reno, Chris Reno, as well as 2 nephews and numerous cousins. And while the obituary ends there, I would add, and many friends. Every obituary, of course, is incomplete. This text, for example, doesn't tell us that her last profession, the work she said she'd been preparing her whole life for, was as a self-described light worker. Christy read tarot cards and offered her services as a psychic and a medium. Mostly, she just wanted to bring more light into the world. Light through the lens of a camera, light through kindness, light through occasional silliness, light through poetry. She came to Unitarian Universalism near the end of her life, in part because she was attracted to the light of the flaming chalice, the symbol of Unitarian Universalism and all that it stands for. We say it every Sunday morning. The burning chalice represents the light of reason and science, the warmth of loving community, the cleansing heat of justice, and the flame of hope. Before she died, Christy wrote out her wishes for her memorial service, and I am not proselytizing here. She specifically asked that I mention that what she valued in Unitarian Universalism, her chosen faith, included our lack of a creed, a requirement that all believe the same thing, and our encouragement of every individual's search for their own truth and meaning within the loving embrace of community. This resonated with her, I think, because she was on her own search for truth and meaning. But the thing with Christy is that she didn't want to go on that search alone. She wanted to bring others with her. It is a tragedy that COVID came along and made it hard for a long time to be physically present in community just when she needed community most. Certainly we here at First U lost sight of her when we had to end our outdoor services in the fall because of dropping temperatures and rising COVID case numbers. It's also a tragedy that we live in a state and a region that offers such pathetically weak support for people struggling with mental illness. It is a tragedy and deeply existentially unfair that such a bright spirit was burdened with such dark fears and delusions and so much pain that living in her own body became too painful for her. And we can respond to all these things with despair, or we can resolve to take the light she brought into the world, the light that now lives in all who loved her, and shine it back out into the darkness so that others who are lost might find a flame of hope. We can take that light and and refract it into the colors of light and beauty. Condense it into a passion for justice. And extend it out into the universe as particle waves of compassion and love. May we do this in honor of the sweet spirit that was Christy, in honor of our own glory, as children of God, children of mystery, each and every one of us, and in honor of life itself. May it be so. Peace, love, light.
You remember me when the west wind moves along the fields of barley. You can tell the sun in his jealous sky when we walked in fields of gold. So she took her love for to gaze a while among the fields of barley. In his arms she fell as her hair came down among the fields of gold. Will you stay with me? Will you be my love among the fields of barley? And you can tell the sun in his jealous sky when we walked in fields of gold. I never made promises lightly. There have been some that I've broken, but I swear in the days still left, we'll walk in fields of gold. We'll walk in fields of gold.
Sail on, silver girl, sail on by. Your time has come to shine. All your dreams are on their way. See how they shine.
again, I just want to leave you with this blessing. Just take a deep breath with me. And let it go. And if you would you join me in a spirit of prayer or meditation? You may want to close your eyes or just let them softly focus. Spirit of life, source of all, mystery of mysteries. We gather on this day connected through the invisible strings that were woven by Christy. Strings of relationship, strings of caring, strings of compassion. While we are saddened deeply by the end of a life much, much too soon. A life that was still unraveling, unfolding in many ways. With so much left to do and to be. While we recognize the tragedy in this, we are renewed in spirit by the question that Christy would ask. And now, what do you do with that one wild and precious life that is yours? May we shine a light into the darkness. May we bring color, love, and light where we go. May it be so. Amen. And I believe that there's a little bit of some cold water and cold drinks and some cookies that we'll be offering just outside under the pergola. It's hot, but there is some shade. And to get there, if you'd like to stay here in the air conditioning for a few minutes while that gets set up, that's fine. To get downstairs, you can go right through this door and go straight down the stairs. You can go through this door down the hallway. There's an elevator if you'd rather take the elevator down. Or you can go back down the way that you came and go straight out the side door. Blessings, peace, light, and love.